Hey folks, welcome back to the channel where coins aren't just spare change but secret treasure maps waiting to be decoded. Now let me ask you something, have you ever tossed a penny without looking at it, like just flicked it across the table or into a tip jar like it owed you money? Well, you might want to rethink that habit, because today we're talking about one little copper-colored beauty that's been quietly chilling in pockets, purses and couch cushions across the country. That's right, the 2014 Mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny, a coin that looks like it's worth 1 cent but could actually be hiding a whopping $1.1 million value. I'm not kidding, folks. This isn't one of those scammy stories like your uncle's MLM pitch or that email from the prince of a small island country, so stick around, because by the end of this video not only will you know what to look for, but you'll also get a solid strategy for how to turn your coin collection, or your junk drawer, into a gold mine. Alright, so let's get into it. The 2014 Mint Mark Lincoln penny looks pretty ordinary at first glance. You've got Honest Abe on the front, looking presidential as always. He's been rocking that pose since 1909, and frankly he's aged better than most celebrities. Now here's where it gets interesting. Normally coins minted in Philadelphia don't have a mint mark, but for most collectors 2014 pennies are nothing special. Unless of course you come across one of the rare error coins or varieties that slipped past the eagle eyes of the US Mint. The $1.1 million version of this penny isn't your run-of-the-mill coin. It's believed to be an ultra-rare minting error combined with a unique die clash and possibly a double die obverse. That's just fancy coin speak for stuff went sideways at the mint, but in a way that made collectors drool like they just saw a bacon-wrapped taco. Now you might be asking, why would anyone pay over $1 million for a penny? Is it made of gold? Does it tell the future? Nope, it's still made of mostly zinc with a thin copper coating. It's not psychic and it won't do your taxes, but what it does have is rarity condition and a perfect storm of collector demand. See, coin collectors known as numismatists, yes, that's a real word, and no, I didn't sneeze just now, go absolutely bananas over coins with rare errors, especially when those errors are clearly visible and the coin is in near perfect condition. One known 2014 Mint Mark penny that sold for $1.1 million had a double die obverse, which means Lincoln's face and the lettering on the coin were slightly duplicated due to a misalignment at the mint. Imagine if you printed your school picture on a copier and sneezed mid-scan. That's kinda what happened here, but with a lot more money on the line. Now let's talk about how you can tell if you're holding onto one of these $1 million babies. First, grab a magnifying glass or your phone camera, zoom in on the words "In God We Trust" and "Liberty." If the letters look doubled or fuzzy, you might have a double die. Next, look at the date. If the 2014 is doubled or has weird shadows that aren't from your bad lighting setup in the kitchen, you could be onto something. Also check the overall condition. If it looks like it just came out of a fresh roll straight from the bank, you're in better shape. Most valuable coins are graded high on the Sheldon scale, usually MS-65 or higher. That's basically the mint state version of getting a gold star in kindergarten. Now let me tell you a quick story. I was once at a garage sale helping a buddy clean out his grandpa's old coin jars. We're talking jars so dusty they could have been props on a mummy movie. Anyway, I'm sorting through these coins and I find a 2014 penny with no mint mark. I set it aside just because it looked kinda clean. Well, fast forward a few weeks, I'm researching coins for the channel and I see a listing for that same penny selling for crazy money. I nearly choked on my microwaved burrito. I ran back to my junk pile, grabbed the coin and checked it with my loop. That's coin nerd talk for a magnifier. No doubling sadly, but man, that moment, that little flash of what if is what makes this hobby so exciting. And don't worry, my friend still lets me help at his garage sales as long as I bring donuts. So let's say lightning strikes and you've got the $1 million penny in your hand. What next? First, don't go buying a yacht just yet. You'll want to send the coin to a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. These folks will authenticate the coin and assign it a grade, which helps determine value. Once that's done, you can sell it through a reputable auction house or coin dealer. If you're into drama, you could even put it up on eBay with a bold title like "This penny could retire your GRNDMA." And please don't clean the coin. I repeat, do not clean the coin. I know it's tempting, but cleaning a valuable coin is like washing a vintage Star Wars toy with a toothbrush. You're not helping if this whole $1 million penny thing has lit a fire in your coin-loving heart. Then here's how to get started without going broke. Start by checking your change, especially from banks or cash-heavy businesses like laundromats, vending machines, or the coffee shop that still uses a register. From the ADS lookup known error lists for each year. Focus on pennies, nickels, and quarters. You'd be surprised how many rare coins slip into circulation unnoticed. And if you're really into it, hit up local coin shows, flea markets, or estate sales. You never know what might be hiding in an old collection someone didn't care about. So there you have it, folks, one little copper-colored coin that could literally change your life. The 2014 Mint Mark Lincoln penny, worth over $1.1 million, might still be out there hiding in plain sight. Just imagine turning a random trip to the gas station into a $1 million payday just because you checked your change. If you enjoyed this deep dive and want more tips on how to find coins worth big bucks, then make sure You hit that subscribe button and smash that like button like you're trying to break open a piggy bank from 1992. Turn on notifications so you don't miss any hidden gems we uncover next. I've got more stories, more strategies, and maybe just maybe the key to unlocking your coin collecting fortune. Hey coin hunters, welcome back to the channel where pennies make millionaires and loose change could change your life. Now listen real quick before you toss the jar of old coins under your bed or down the coin machine at the grocery store. You might want to hit pause on that idea because today we're diving into one of the most surprising treasures hiding in plain sight, the 1962 D mint Mark Lincoln penny. Yes, you heard me right, a humble little 1-cent coin from 1962 minted in Denver is now valued at a jaw-dropping $1.2 million. No, this isn't clickbait, and no, I didn't bump my head. This penny is the real deal, and by the end of this video you're gonna know exactly what makes it so special, how to spot one in your collection, and maybe just maybe how to turn pocket change into big bucks. So grab your coin jar, pop some popcorn, and get ready because we're going treasure hunting now. On the surface it looks just like any other penny you've probably seen 100 times. Lincoln's face on the front, wheat stalks on the back, or if it's a later version, the Lincoln Memorial. But in 1962 it was all about that classic memorial design. Here's the kicker: over 1.7 billion of these bad boys were minted in Denver that year. So how could one possibly be worth over $1 million? I mean, they were practically giving them away back then. Well, it all comes down to a few key things: rarity, condition, and some weird little quirks that make collectors go absolutely bananas. Some of the most valuable 1962 D pennies out there have insane mint errors. We're talking double dies, off-center strikes, repunched mint marks, and even some struck on the wrong planchet. That's like printing a $20 bill on notebook paper. You see one and you just know it's not right. There's a story floating around of a guy who bought a bag of old pennies at a yard sale for $5, and inside was a 1962 D penny with a super rare double die error, perfect condition. Boom. $1 million fine. Now he didn't go quit his job right away, but let's just say his car suddenly got a lot nicer. Ever heard the term MS67 or MS68? That's mint state grading talk, and if your penny looks like it just came fresh off the press, you're in business. The higher the grade, the higher the payday. A 1962 D penny in near perfect uncirculated condition can fetch crazy money, especially when you factor in those rare errors. Let me put it this way: if your penny is so clean it could be used in a toothpaste commercial, you better get it graded by a pro. Coin collecting is having a serious glow up right now. People are digging through drawers, scouring estate sales, and watching videos like this one because the demand for rare coins is skyrocketing. It's like Antiques Roadshow meets American Pickers, but with pennies and more suspense. There are collectors out there who will drop six figures on the right coin, and the 1962 D penny with all the right features is like the holy grail for some of them. Okay, I gotta tell you all this. So last year I'm at this local flea market, just browsing, killing time, and I see this old beat up binder of coins for $10. I figure, hey, why not? Maybe there's something cool in there. I get home, flip through it, and boom, I find a 1962 D penny, shiny, beautiful, with a little doubling on the date. Now I'm no pro, so I send it in for grading, heart pounding like I just opened a golden ticket, and guess what? It came back MS66 red with a minor double die error. Now it's not quite $1 million coin, but it's still worth a few grand, and that binder is now framed on my wall like a family heirloom. Moral of the story: you never know where treasure is hiding. Alright, so what should you look for if you're hunting for that $1 million 1962 D penny? That means Denver mint. Check for doubling on the date or lettering. Some more repunch. Look for off-center strikes or planchet errors. The shinier the better. If you think you've got a winner, don't go selling it on eBay for $5. Get it graded by a professional service like PCGS or NGC. Trust me, it's worth the investment. So there you have it, folks, the humble 1962 D Lincoln penny, a 1-cent coin that could be your ticket to becoming a coin collecting legend. Who knew that the same penny we used to stick in gumball machines could now be worth over $1 million? The key is knowing what to look for and staying curious. Keep checking those pockets, your old jars, your junk drawers, because the next great discovery might be closer than you think. And hey, if you found this video helpful, entertaining, or just like the idea of turning pennies into piles of cash, do me a favor, smash that like button and hit subscribe. We've got tons more videos coming up on rare coins, coin hunting tips, and how to spot value where no one else is looking. Hey, coin hunters, treasure seekers, and everyone who's ever picked up a penny off the ground and thought, could this be the one? Today we're diving into something seriously wild. Something that'll make you check your piggy banks, couch cushions, and even that weird little junk drawer in the kitchen where batteries, paper clips, and mystery pennies go to retire. We're talking about the legendary, the mysterious, the potentially $1 million 1975 D Lincoln penny. Yep, you heard that right. This unassuming little copper coin could be worth up to $1.3 million right now. That's more than most people's cars, houses, or student loans, and no, we're not messing around with Clickbait here. There's a very real reason this penny has collectors foaming at the mouth like a kid who found the golden ticket in Willy Wonka's chocolate bar. But before we jump in, let me hit you with a quick story. So a few years back I was at a garage sale, you know, the kind where you see a guy selling everything from vintage Playboys to lawnmower parts and a mysterious collection of coins and an old cookie tin. He found a few wheat pennies, bought the whole thing for $5 just for fun. I brought them home, got curious, did a little research, and bam, one of those pennies turned out to be worth over $100. Not life-changing money, but hey, that's like getting paid to eat tacos for a week. That's when I got hooked, and now you're here, which means maybe you're already hooked too, or maybe this is your first taste of the wild world of rare coins. Either way, buckle up, because the 1975 D Lincoln penny is a doozy. So what's the deal with this 1975 D Lincoln penny? Why is it worth over $1 million when most people wouldn't even bend over to pick one up off the street? The 1975 D penny was minted in Denver, hence the little D mint mark right under the date if your coin says 1975 and has a tiny D under it. Congrats, you've got one of the more common variants. But wait, before you chuck it in the coin jar, there's a rare twist coming up. Most 1975 D pennies are made of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc, weighing about 3.11 grams. That's normal, but here's where things get spicy. Few 1975 D pennies were struck on the wrong planchets, like leftover steel or even foreign coin blanks. These are called off-metal strikes, and they are crazy valuable. One example was found struck on an aluminum planchet which shouldn't even exist in 1975. That's like finding a unicorn in your backyard eating your begonias. So how does one of these humble coins reach a value of $1.3 million? Well, it comes down to rarity, condition, and collector frenzy. If your 1975 D penny looks like it just rolled out of a time machine from the mint, fresh, shiny, and uncirculated, you're in luck, especially if it's graded as MS67 or higher by a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. That grade means your coin is practically flawless. It's like the George Clooney of coins. Collectors go bananas over errors like double dies, repunched mint marks, and off-center strikes. So if your 1975 D penny looks a little off, don't toss it. That could be a jackpot hiding in plain sight. Some 1975 D pennies have what's called a double die obverse. This means the front of the coin shows a slightly doubled image, especially in the date or the word liberty. That kind of error is a collector's dream, and it sends the value skyrocketing. Now you might be wondering how these errors even happen. Isn't the mint like super careful? Well, yes and no. Remember, these coins were being pumped out by the billions in 1975, and humans were still heavily involved in the process. Mistakes happened, especially during die creation or planchet feeding, and sometimes a weird error coin slips through quality control. It ends up in someone's pocket, gets tossed in a jar and forgotten until some lucky person finds it decades later and ends up on the news buying a Tesla with a single penny. So where should you look for one of these magical coins? Easy, anywhere and everywhere. Check your change, dig through old piggy banks, raid your grandparents' coin collection, with permission of course. Go to garage sales, flea markets, estate sales, and antique shops. You never know where one of these treasures is hiding. Get yourself a cheap jeweler's loupe or magnifying glass. Seriously, it's a game changer. You'll feel like Sherlock Holmes solving penny mysteries. And if you think you found something special, don't clean it. Just don't. Coin collectors would rather kiss a porcupine than buy a clean coin. It destroys the value faster than pineapple on pizza divides a room. Get it graded instead. If it comes back with a high grade or a verified error, then congratulations, friend, you might just be sitting on a 6 or 7 figure payday. So I was at a coin show once chatting with this older guy who looked like he could have been Lincoln's cousin, and he pulls out a binder and goes, "Wanna see something cool?" Inside was a 1975 D penny struck on a silver dime planchet. I kid you not, it was smaller than a normal penny and shiny like a vampire in a YA novel. He said he bought it for $5 in the 80s and now it's valued at over $1 million. Moral of the story: keep your eyes open. The next big find might be waiting in your own collection. The 1975 D Lincoln penny might look like just another coin, but the right one in the right condition with the right error could be worth a jaw-dropping $1.30 million. So the next time you get change at the grocery store or you're cleaning out the drawer full of randomness, take a second look at the dates, check the mint marks. You never know what treasure might be hiding in plain sight. And hey, if you found this video fun, helpful, or even mildly entertaining, then do me a solid, smash that subscribe button, hit the bell so you never miss a chance to learn about coins worth big bucks. Drop a comment if you've ever found a rare coin or want to know about another year's hidden gems. I've got tons more tips, stories, and secrets coming your way, so don't miss out. Thanks for watching. Stay curious, stay coin crazy, and remember, hey there, fellow coin hunters, penny pinchers, treasure seekers, and accidental collectors who found a coin in the couch cushion and now think it might be worth a fortune. You're in the right place, and today, oh boy, do I have a story for you. What if I told you that a plain old 1979 D penny, yes, the kind you flick off the counter or find stuck to the bottom of your car mat, could be worth a staggering jaw-dropping, can you even believe it, $1.4 million? That's right, $1.4 million. For a coin you probably ignored while digging for a quarter in your cup holder, stick with me because we're diving deep into the world of the 1979 Abraham Lincoln penny, what makes it special, why collectors are freaking out, and how you might just have a tiny copper jackpot in your possession. And yes, there's a personal story that involves me, a vending machine, and a life-changing realization that coins are basically metal lottery tickets. Let's rewind a little. It's 1979. Disco was dying, bell-bottoms were gasping their last breath, and the Denver Mint was busy stamping out billions of Lincoln pennies. Now you might be thinking, wait, if they made billions of these things, why would one be worth $1 million? And that's a solid question. Most 1979 pennies are worth exactly 1 cent, which honestly feels kind of disrespectful to Mr. Lincoln's legacy, but a rare few, and I mean very few, are hiding some juicy secrets. Some of these pennies were struck with errors, minting mistakes that turn average coins into collector gold. Think double dies, off-center strikes, or transitional metal planchets. Fancy words, I know, but hang tight, we're breaking it down. Types of errors that make this penny worth millions. So first we've got the famous double die. That's when the coin is stamped twice but not quite in the same spot. Think of it like trying to stamp your name with a shaky hand after 3 cups of coffee. The result, a coin with doubled letters or numbers, and collectors go bananas over it. Then there's the off center strike. This one's easy to spot because it looks like the coin just barely made it into the machine. Imagine a lazy coin just lounging on the edge, getting barely smacked by the press. Boom. Error, coin jackpot. And perhaps the most mysterious and valuable is the transitional planchet. That's a fancy way of saying the coin was struck on a metal blank from the wrong year. For example, a 1979 penny struck on a 1980 blank, or even a leftover silver dime blank from previous years. That's when the value skyrockets. Now let's talk about the big boy, the actual 1979 penny that sold for a mind-blowing $1.4 million. It was a near-perfect example of a double die with a sharp off-center strike and was struck on a rare planchet made from an experimental composition. It was graded by a top-tier coin grading service at MS68, which basically means it was as close to perfect as you can get. For something that got slammed in a machine, there's only one known to exist in this condition, which makes it the holy grail for penny collectors, kind of like the One Ring of Lincoln pennies, just hopefully without the evil wizard vibes. Okay, story time. So a few years ago I was broke, like eat instant noodles for dinner broke. I was standing at a vending machine trying to get a pack of peanut M&Ms because life was hard and sugar helps, and I realized I was short 10 cents. I did the classic pocket pat down, checked the change tray, and lo and behold I found a dusty penny. It was a 1979 I remember thinking, thanks Lincoln, but what am I gonna do with this? I ended up trading it for a dime from a friend who was tired of me ranting about M&Ms. Later that night I got curious, looked up the coin, and found out about the $1 million version, and I swear I could hear tiny violins playing in the background. So yeah, I might have eaten those M&Ms, but I potentially passed up on $1 million penny, so now I check every single one I find, and so should you. Look for doubling on the date, especially the 9 and the 7. Look closely at the word liberty and in God we trust. Those letters should be crisp, but if they look like they've had one too many shots of espresso and are slightly doubled, bingo. Feel the weight. If it feels heavier or lighter than a typical penny, that might mean it's on a transitional planchet. And most importantly, check the condition. A shiny perfect penny is worth a lot more than one that's been through a washing machine and run over by a skateboard. If you think you've struck gold, or copper in this case, your next step is to get it graded. Companies like PCGS or NGC are the big dogs in the grading world. They'll authenticate your coin and give it a grade from 1 to 70. A high grade means high value. We're talking thousands, hundreds of thousands, or yes, even millions. Once graded, you can auction it off through sites like Heritage Auctions or Stacksbowers, and who knows, maybe next week you're not watching coin videos, you're relaxing on a beach sipping something fruity with a tiny umbrella in it, all thanks to Honest Abe. Alright folks, let's bring it home. If you've got a jar of old coins, a stash in your glove box, or even a 1979 penny sitting on your dresser, now's the time to check it. You never know when a coin worth 1 cent could be your ticket to 1.4 million. Remember, coin collecting isn't just for old men with magnifying glasses, it's for anyone who likes a little mystery, a little treasure hunting, and a lot of potential payoff. And hey, if you found today's video fun, helpful, or at least mildly entertaining, then hit that subscribe button, smash the like, drop a comment telling me your favorite coin find, and turn on notifications so you never miss out on another money-making metal tip. I've got more juicy coin secrets coming your way, rare finds, crazy values, and strategies to build your own treasure chest, one penny at a time. Hey coin hunters and treasure seekers, welcome back to the channel where we turn pocket change into gold mines. Now before you throw that penny jar out or use it to buy gum, hear me out. What if I told you there's a 1964 penny out there, no mint mark, looks just like every other penny in your junk drawer, and it could be worth a jaw-dropping, life-changing Lamborghini, buying $1.50 million? Today we're diving deep into the legendary 1964 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny that's making collectors go Bananas, so buckle up, grab a drink and maybe a magnifying glass, cause who knows, maybe you're sitting on a small fortune and don't even know it yet. Alright, so let's talk about the 1964 Lincoln penny. We all know it, it's that coppery little coin with good ol' honest Abe looking slightly annoyed, probably from being shoved in couch cushions for decades now. In 1964 the US Mint produced billions of these pennies, I'm talking enough to fill a football stadium with copper, so what makes one of them worth more than $1 million while the rest are just rolling around in old sock drawers? So here's the deal, most 1964 pennies were struck in Philadelphia, which didn't use a mint mark back then, so you won't see a little DRS under the year. Some of these coins were struck using error dies or had rare characteristics like being struck on the wrong planchet or having a double die that gives them collector superstar status. Imagine going on a blind date expecting man ending up with a supermodel. That's what coin collectors feel when they find one of these bad boys. Now let me tell you a quick story. About 10 years ago I found an old jar in my grandma's attic, you know, the kind all dusty, full of buttons, pennies and the occasional mystery crumb. I am digging through it hoping for gold bars because I was broke and hungry, and boom, I see this 1964 penny all beat up, but something about it looked kinda OFF. I didn't know much about coins at the time, so what did I do? I did what every rational adult would do. I Googled, is this penny worth anything? While eating cold pizza. Spoiler alert, mine wasn't the $1 million one, but the thrill, the what if, it got me hooked. I've been coin hunting ever since, and man, I've learned a lot. Alright, here's where we get practical. If you have a 1964 penny, here's what to look for: any crazy misprints or off-center. Your eyes might miss what tech can catch. 5 bonus tip: if it's in mint condition, uncirculated and shiny, that's $. Right there. If you see one of these signs, hold on to that penny like it's your favorite snack at 2 a.m. Now let's talk about the actual 1964 no mint mark penny that hit that $1.5 million mark. It was discovered in pristine condition with an extremely rare mint error, something so special that experts were losing their minds over it. It had a double die obverse, plus it was struck on a rare planchet likely intended for a foreign coin. Basically it was a hot mess that collectors drool over. This penny was graded by a top-tier grading company and went to auction, where collectors battled over it like it was the last PlayStation on Black Friday. Okay, now let's address the elephant in the piggy bank. Why would someone drop $1.5 million on a penny? It's all about the story, the history, the fact that something so ordinary turned out to be extraordinary. Also, let's be honest, coin collectors are just as passionate as sneakerheads or comic book fans, except instead of Air Jordans they get excited over slightly crooked letters and shiny metal discs. That little 1964 no mint mark penny in your change jar might just be your golden ticket, so go check your coins, look at those dates, zoom in on those details, and who knows, you might be the next person we talk about in a $1 million coin story. If you liked this video, give it a big thumbs up because every like helps us reach more treasure hunters like you, and don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you never miss a chance to learn about coins that can change your life. Literally. Drop a comment below if you found anything cool, or if you just want to tell me your favorite coin story. I love reading them, and who knows, maybe I'll feature yours in a future video. Alright, I'm off to dig through some more pennies. Catch you in the next one, and remember, every coin has a story and yours might just be worth $1 million. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel where we turn pocket change into treasure and dusty old coins into big time bank. If you're new here, you might want to grab a magnifying glass and a jar of pennies, because what I'm about to tell you could change the way you see every penny you've ever tossed in a jar or left in your car cup holder. And yes, you read that title right, there's a 1980 no mint mark Lincoln penny out there that recently sold for a jaw-dropping $1.6 million. Not even joking, 1.6 for a penny, a single copper coin. So before you dump your change in the Coinstar machine, stick around because you might just be sitting on a mini fortune and not even know it. And let me tell you how I found out about this. You see, one day I was cleaning out my grandpa's garage and I stumbled on this old dusty Folgers can labeled good pennies, and I was like, come on grandpa, what's a bad penny? Little did I know one of those so-called good pennies would pay for half my car, but more on that later. Let's dive in. What exactly is the 1980 no mint mark Lincoln penny, and why are people flipping out about it? 1980 shoulder pads, mustaches, disco, still trying to hang on, and the US Mint churning out billions of pennies with good ol' honest Abe on the front. Now here's the thing, most pennies minted in 1980 were made in Philadelphia. Mint coins from Philly don't carry a mint mark, which is totally normal. So you might be wondering, how the heck is a no mint mark penny from Philly worth $1.5 million? See, most 1980 pennies were made of 95% copper and 5% zinc. They're basically coppery brown little discs that turn green if you leave them in your washing machine. But some rare specimens were struck using a misaligned die or had an off-center strike. Others were struck on the wrong planchet entirely. Imagine expecting a penny and getting a dime's body with Abe's face on it. Wild. Right now, the famous 1980 no mint mark Lincoln penny that sold for $1.6 million wasn't your run of the Mill penny. It had what collectors call a mint error. Specifically, this bad boy had an incredibly rare double die-obverse translation. Abe's face and the lettering on the front looked like it had been printed twice, like he sneezed halfway through being minted. Collectors go nuts over that kind of stuff. Add to that the fact it was in pristine condition, like not a single fingerprint or scratch you could eat off this penny if you were tiny and into that kind of thing. It was graded MS67, that's mint state 67, which is basically like the penny version of a supermodel. Now, why does this matter? Well, most of us toss our coins into jars or drop them in drive-through trays without thinking twice, but someone out there looked closely at this coin, realized something was off, got it authenticated, and became millionaire. So let's break down how you can spot one of these bad boys yourself. Step 1: pull out your loose change. Yup, right now go check your couch cushions, under your car seat, the bottom of your backpack. Heck, I found one wedged in a drawer behind a stack of unpaid bills. Look for a 1980 penny with no mint mark. That's the easy part. Is Abe's face kind of ghostly looking? Are the letters in Liberty or In God We Trust slightly double? Is the penny way shinier than it has any right to be? If yes, you just might have something special. Now let me tell you another story. A friend of mine named Jamie once laughed at me for spending 2 hours looking through a mason jar full of pennies. She thought I'd lost it. She even brought me snacks like I was doing a marathon or something. But guess what? I found a 1980 no mint mark penny with a weird smudge on Abe's cheek. Said it didn't get it appraised. It wasn't the $1 million one, but I sold it for $800. You think Jamie laughed after that? Nope, she brought her own jar the next weekend and joined in. We made a game out of it. Now her kids call me Uncle Pennywise. The point is, these coins are out there, and not just the 1980 one. There are valuable coins hiding in plain sight. You just need to know what to look for. A simple penny can be worth more than your entire coin jar. It's not about luck, it's about knowledge and a little curiosity, and maybe a magnifying glass the size of a dinner plate if your eyes are like mine. Also, for the love of copper, don't clean your coins with ketchup or baking soda. You'll ruin their value faster than you can say oops. If you think you have a valuable coin, take it to a professional appraiser or submit it to a grading company like PCGS or Anchor. They'll tell you if you've struck gold or well, copper. There you have it, the 1980 no mint mark Lincoln penny, one of the most unexpected millionaire makers in pocket change history. So next time someone tells you a penny isn't worth picking up off the ground, tell them about Abe's $1 million makeover. Tell them about the collector who turned a simple cent into 1.6 million. Tell them about how you're about to be the next big coin boss. Now, if you enjoyed this video, learned something new, or just want to see me dig through more old jars like a caffeinated raccoon, hit that subscribe button, smash the like, and ring the notification bell so you never miss a chance to cash in on some coin knowledge. We've got plenty more tips, tricks, and treasure hunts coming your way. Hey there, coin hunters and couch change checkers, welcome back to the channel where your spare change might just be your secret fortune. If you're new here, I'm your go-to coin nerd, and today we've got a wild one to talk about. This isn't your average penny. We're diving deep into a coin that looks boring at first glance but could be your ticket to $1 million payday. Yep, I'm talking about the unassuming 1987 no mint mark Lincoln penny. You've probably seen it 1,000 times or maybe spent one at the gas station last week for gum, but one rare version of this little guy recently sold for a jaw-dropping $1.7 million. $1.7 million for a penny. I've literally found one in my couch and probably flicked one across the room during a boring Zoom call. I mean, who hasn't? So let's get into how this ordinary-looking coin became the Cinderella story of the coin world, how you can spot one yourself, and what makes it so ridiculously valuable. Alright, let's kick this off with some background. The 1987 penny features good old Abe Lincoln looking sharp as ever on the front and the Lincoln Memorial on the back. Nothing out of the ordinary there, right? Wrong. See, most 1987 pennies have a mint mark, either D for Denver or S for San Francisco, but every now and then one sneaks into circulation without a mint mark at all. That's where things get interesting. Now, not all no mint mark pennies are valuable. Some are just regular Philadelphia mints, because back then Philly coins didn't usually have mint marks anyway. But here's the kicker: there's a particular batch of 1987 no mint mark pennies that have some very unique characteristics, a certain combination of metal content, strike quality, and die errors that make collectors go absolutely nuts. These rare beauties are believed to be a result of a limited minting error, where a batch intended for experimental use or testing was mistakenly released into circulation. No mint mark, a different composition, and in some cases slightly off center or with a doubling effect in the lettering, which numismatists call a double die. Alright, I know what you're thinking, that's cool and all, but why is it worth $1.7 million? Well, it comes down to rarity, condition, and demand. There are fewer than 10 known in near mint state with the exact combination of features, and in the world of coin collecting, rarity is king. The fewer there are, the more people want it, and the higher the price climbs. Now let me tell you a quick personal story. I was at a garage sale a few years ago when this older gentleman was selling a jar of pennies for $2. The jar had to have at least 300 pennies, so I'm thinking, hey, maybe I'll find a wheat penny or two. Little did I know I was in for a coin collector's jackpot. I took the jar home, popped it open, turned on some music, and started sorting them out. My cat was watching me like I had completely lost it. By the way, cats are not helpful coin sorting assistants, so I'm about 200 coins in when I spot a Shiny 1987 no mint mark penny. It looked a bit different. It had this crisp strike. The lettering looked off and it was weirdly heavy. I took it to a local coin shop and the guy's eyes went wide. He literally dropped his coffee and whispered, "Do you know what this is?" Fast forward a few weeks, it gets graded and authenticated, and turns out it wasn't the $1 million version, but it still fetched me a cool $1,200. Not bad for a $2 jar. And a curious cat moral of the story: you never know what treasures are hiding in your spare change or old piggy bank. So if you've got a 1987 penny with no mint mark, here's what you want to look for. Number 1, no mint mark under the year. That's key, but not enough on its own. Number 2, check the weight. A normal penny after 1982 should weigh about 2.5 grams. If yours is closer to 3.1 grams, it might be a leftover bronze planchet, and that's a good sign. Number 3, look for doubled die features on Liberty or the date. Any extra thickness in the letters could mean you've hit the jackpot. Number 4, get it graded. Seriously, don't clean it, don't drop it, don't turn it into a lucky necklace. Just get it looked at by a pro like PCGS or NGC. Also, quick tip: coin rolls or treasure chests. Grab a box of penny rolls from the bank and start hunting. You'd be surprised how many gems are still floating around out there. Some folks have found rare coins in customer wrapped rolls just sitting there waiting to be discovered. And if you've got kids or grandkids, this is a fun way to teach them history, math, and the joy of finding something valuable in the least expected places. Plus, it beats another round of screen time. Alright folks, so let's recap. We started with a regular looking penny, the 1987 no mint mark Lincoln cent, and discovered it could be worth up to $1.7 million. That's enough for a new house, a car, and a lifetime supply of peanut butter and jelly or whatever floats your boat. The key takeaways are: check your change, pay attention to small details, and always do a bit of research before you spend that next penny. You never know what tiny treasure might be hiding in plain sight. If you enjoyed this little coin adventure, make sure to smash that like button, tap that subscribe, and ring the notification bell, because we've got tons more tips on coins worth money, collecting strategies, and maybe even more cat-related coin chaos. Drop a comment below if you've ever found a rare coin or want help identifying something in your collection. I love hearing your stories, and hey, maybe you'll be the next $1 million penny finder. Hey everyone! Have you ever thought that you might be sitting on a small fortune without even knowing it? Well, let me tell you, there's a very good chance you are, especially if you have a 1973 D Lincoln penny lying around. Yep, you heard that right. A coin worth a whopping $1.8 million. Sounds crazy, right? But it's true. Stick with me for the next few minutes, and I'll break it down for you: why this penny is worth so much, what makes it so special, and how you might just have one tucked away in your pocket. Trust me, by the end of this video, you'll want to check every pocket, drawer, and old change jar around your house. So, grab your coffee, sit back, and let's dive into the world of valuable coins. This is going to be a fun ride. Bell bottoms are in, rock and roll is booming, and the world is loving the good old Lincoln penny. But little did people know back then, some of these pennies were about to become a goldmine. Fast forward to today, and the 1973 D penny is one of the coins that could be worth a lot more than you might think. And now, let me hit you with the big question. What's so special about a 1973 D Lincoln penny? Why is it fetching $1.8 million at auction? First things first, it's important to understand how a coin like this could be so valuable. In the world of rare coins, it's not just about age. While the 1973 D penny might not be ancient, it's not like finding a 1793 penny or anything. It's about the details. The minting process, the condition, and most importantly, the rarity factor all play into how much a coin can be worth. The 1973 D Lincoln penny is valuable mainly because of the minting error that occurred with it. Specifically, there are some pennies from that year that were struck with a die that caused certain features to be either misshaped or out of place. These subtle imperfections, which were considered mistakes at the time, are now exactly what collectors want. It's like buying a pair of jeans with a little tear in the pocket and calling it vintage. Crazy how a mistake can turn into a treasure, right? Here's where it gets interesting. Most of the 1973 D pennies are your average, run-of-the-mill coins. They're worth exactly what you'd expect, 1 cent. But the ones with those minting errors? They're like the golden tickets of the penny world. One of those rare coins went to auction and sold for an insane $1.8 million. Yes, you heard that right. This penny could change your life if you happen to find one, and let's talk about that for a second. How does a penny go from being worth 1 cent to $1.8 million? Is there some kind of magic at play here? Well, not exactly, but there's certainly a lot of market demand for these rare errors. People who collect coins don't just want the regular stuff, they want the quirky, oddball coins that stand out. It's like when you're at a yard sale and you find that one vintage item that everyone else has overlooked. Suddenly, that item isn't just a thing collecting dust, it's a coveted gem. That's what the 1973D penny is to collectors, but hold on, let me share a little story with you. So, a few years ago, I was going through some old change I'd accumulated over the years, because, let's face it, we all have that jar of pennies somewhere. I found a 1973 penny, and I thought, hey, this could be worth something. But, spoiler alert, it was not a 1973D error coin. It was just your typical penny. And guess what? It went straight into my coin jar where it continues to live its average penny life, but, oh, if I had only known then what I know now. It got me thinking, there must be tons of people out there who don't realize they might be sitting on a literal fortune. And that's why I'm here. To share these little known gems with you, so you don't make the same mistake I did. Okay, back to the coin. So, what's the big deal about this particular penny? Why should you care? Well, let me break it down for you in the most simple way possible. Rarity. You know how you're always on the hunt for something rare and unique? Like finding that limited edition toy or a vintage band tee from a concert you never went to? Well, the 1973D Lincoln penny with the minting error is like that. The rare, special version of an otherwise common coin. Condition is key. A 1973D penny in pristine condition is much more valuable than one that's been banged up, covered in dirt, or has been in circulation for decades. If you happen to have one in mint condition, you're holding on to something that could fetch you a pretty penny, pun intended. Market demand. There's an active community of collectors who go crazy over coins with unique errors. These folks are always on the lookout for their next big find. So, if you happen to find one of these rare 1973D pennies, there's a good chance you could make a pretty penny yourself. Well, the 1973D Lincoln penny is more than just a piece of pocket change. If you happen to find one with the right error and in great condition, you could be looking at a small fortune, $1.8 million, to be exact. How crazy is that? But here's the deal, if you don't know what you're looking for, you might miss it. That's why it's so important to be aware of these valuable coins and know how to spot them. And hey, don't feel bad if you don't have one lying around. There are plenty of other rare coins out there waiting to be discovered. Before I sign off, I want to encourage you to do a couple of things. Go through that old change jar, look at your 1973 pennies, and see if you have a potential goldmine on your hands, because I'm going to keep bringing you more tips on rare coins, valuable finds, and strategies to help you make money with your coin collection. I don't want you to miss out on any of the action. And hey, if you find a 1973D penny worth $1.8 million, don't forget to come back and drop a comment letting me know. Maybe you'll be the next big success story.